Hey guys, welcome back to Can I Kick It? It's me, Alexander Ray. I'm sitting here with an old friend, Zack Sutphin, lead singer, guitar player from Memory Motel.
Yep.
Now, we've had Memory Motel on the podcast before. Turns out 5 people may be too much for a podcast.
It fucking sucked.
It was a funny episode, though. Like, I sat and thought about it. Like, I wanted to make sure I reviewed the tape and kind of make sure we didn't gloss over any of the old stuff that we've already kind of talked about for people that are watching. But
I can't even remember what we talked about.
You had a few great starting points that just didn't mature.
That Hatcher ruined by talking over me,
Hatcher.
Probably. Yeah. I believe it.
We love Hatcher, but he's an attention whore, and that's okay.
Yeah. No,
that's okay.
He's great. Yeah.
It's an asset in the long run, really. But Zach, it's good to sit down and actually talk with you about creating some of the lyrics and some of the music because really, in my memory, I've known Hatcher, Carlisle, Jared Lee, Clymer. Those have been kind of like the musicians of the group, and you kind of were, I don't want to say an underdog, but like you came out of left field with some heaters, dude. Like, what was that like to sit back and watch all your buddies jam? Was that inspiring? I mean, and then you stepped up, and Hatcher wants to take the credit, of course.
Well, he deserves a lot of the credit.
He does. Was he pumping you up?
I would have quit playing music twice if it wasn't for Hatcher.
Wow. What kind of things would he say to you to kind of keep you?
Well, I used to always send him songs and stuff. I mean, for years.
I do that too, actually.
And then I would I could never find a band. I always had Sam Conrad, who I played with forever, but
I love Sam.
Yeah, he's a great guy. We could never find a consistent drummer. I didn't want to be the singer. I always wanted to find a singer, and I could never find it. And then, so I wrote all the songs, and I just wanted to have like a puppet guy, be the singer, like
Ghost Rider.
Yeah, I wanted to be like the Roger Daltrey and the Pete Townsend, have like a Roger Daltrey up there. Just I'll do all of it, you just sing it. But that's hard to find.
Pete Townsend's an interesting character, and we can talk about him later. Man, he wrote a book called Wild Horses. I read it when I was like 16. You should check that out. Everybody should check that out, actually.
If I could
he was the mastermind behind that whole operation.
Yeah. That was what I wanted to do.
It was so. What stopped you from doing that? Just options?
Couldn't find the people.
Yeah.
Just couldn't find the people.
There's a lot to be said about starting a band that's a lot like dating.
Yeah.
The chemistry. But imagine dating 4 people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's worse than dating.
Yeah.
But
it finally fell into place, though, it seems like. Memory Motel's been pumping them out. I mean, how long have you guys been together now? Like
2 years, a little over.
And they've been together for a lot longer than
I saw them play when I was 13.
Right.
So
they've gone through all kinds of different names, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I kind of sent Hatcher some songs, like, because I finally got determined. I just wrote songs and was like, hey, check this out, just to like friends. And like Hatcher was the only person that was super supportive to me. So I sent him the new stuff I was working on. And then I sent him the riff. The opening song on the first record is called Tightrope. Well, I sent him that song the night I wrote it. I sent it to him, and he called me within like 30 seconds of me sending it to him. And he was like,
so he wasn't even through the whole song.
No, yet. He was like, that riff.
There it is.
Pissed me off how good it is. And I was like, I quit telling me that because I'm sick of fucking hearing it. Like, what are you gonna do about it? And we sat down and we had dinner one night, and he's like, you know what? He's like, you're a fucking pussy. I was like, why? And he was like, because you write fucking amazing songs and you just sit there in your fucking house by yourself and you don't share it with anybody.
Wow.
I was like, well, guess what? You're a fucking pussy because you're in the best rock and roll band around, and you just play other people's songs.
Which in Hatcher language means I fucking love you.
Yeah, so we just like, that was our argument, and I was like, you know, I could, he's like, well, why have you never asked? I was like, I don't fucking know. I don't know what you guys are doing.
Yeah. So and you don't want to like assert yourself in.
No.
And those are intimidating musicians.
And they're all older than me too.
Oh, wait, true.
So like,
besides Jared, right? I mean,
he's a couple years older than me still.
Jared's older than you?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I'm the youngest. I'm 30.
Oh wow, I had no idea, dude.
Yep.
Okay, well, man,
he does look younger than me.
What a beautiful addition to the crew there, and you guys are actually making moves now. Like, you played at the Electric River Jam. I was blown away by your performance there. And also, like, your voice is uniquely your own. There's nobody that sounds like you. I
had a rough night that night, though, but...
I wouldn't even worry about that, dude. I mean, everybody was rocking out.
Everybody says that because nobody can, you know, like... Sometimes if people don't know the song also, they don't know like the notes you're cheating on.
Now, let's dive into that a little bit because that's interesting. How did you feel like you let yourself down in that regard, if you don't mind talking about it?
I had the worst night. My voice popped on like the 6th song. Until then, I was fine.
So were you going hard? I mean,
that's an inexperienced thing.
Right, true. I mean, most comedians say that you got to go up there and bomb for a while before you actually settle into what you're going to do. And also, it's like good to feel rejection to a certain degree.
Yeah.
I don't think you really experienced rejection, but other than yourself, right?
It's just a little bit of, like I said, it's just inexperience. Not knowing how to like, which is, they're good about like, talking to like helping me through it because they're so experienced with it, but like not talking to the sound guy, like not getting your voice back in your monitor, like not knowing.
You didn't know what questions to ask.
Yeah, I didn't know how to do that. That was the second time I've ever sang in front of people.
Wow. Okay,
so
that's heavy.
Yeah.
So that's a big crowd for this area. Yeah. I think we had close to 900 people or something to that effect, if I remember right. Kyler told me, but anyway, man, so when you're writing this music from this album, which is called Chandelierium, great album, check it out on Spotify. It's definitely a continuous listen from front to back. You come to the group with your lyrics prepared and your riffs prepared. How much of an evolution from where you started with the songs, all the songs? Let's take Tightrope, for example, just to kind of break it down to a bite-sized piece. How different is that song from when you started to when the band got a hold of it and added their flair? And like...
it changes. I mean, they're really good at adding, like, you know,
without taking away.
Oh, yeah. Well, I just write the verse and the chorus. I write one verse and one chorus, and I quit. I just, like, that's done to me.
Okay.
Because you can just repeat that, and then I leave the bridge up to them. Like, the bridge part of the song, I'm like, we'll just work on that together. Like, I'm not sitting there and working on that.
You're not greedy about the art.
No.
Yeah.
Well, because you can just move on to the next song. If you get a verse and a chorus, you can just move on, and you can work on the next one.
Now, how much of your alliteration or your lyricism is based on real life experience?
Probably very little.
That's where you and I differ, and a lot of musicians that I talk to that are actually out there doing the thing. Like, all of mine is based off of, and this is just where I'm coming from to ask questions from, like a source. Like, what? So how? Take me through your songwriting process. You get like a catchy phrase in your mind over a riff, right? So it starts with the riff for you.
Yeah, I always that's the kind of music I like. I don't like just playing chords on guitar is fine. Like, some people can do it, and it, like that, like very minimal thing is fine. But like, I like riff based rock and roll is kind of what I like.
So it kind of catches you, and puts you in a certain mode,
like the Rolling Stones or bands like that.
That was in my notes, like to ask you about, because I know "Memory Motel" is actually
the Rolling Stones song,
right? So what about that song or that band or that feeling really hooked you into that name?
Well, I don't even like that song by the Rolling Stones. It's just a cool name. I was just looking for a name, and that's kind of the one we settled on. I was just looking through like band song names and stuff because people have done that before. But Yeah, I don't like that song very much. It's like kind of a piano song.
I don't even know it, to be honest. Like I'm not a big Stones guy, really.
No one really.
They're good. Like I know She's a Rainbow.
Yeah,
that's
She's
a
a Rainbow is
badass
good.
fucking song, and God, Satisfaction, of course, but that's because of my dad. But
I just owe them a lot because I played the guitar is tuned in open G,
right?
So I don't play in standard tuning ever. And I only started doing that because of Keith Richards. Like I hit a wall in standard tuning where I could not write everything I wrote sounded like somebody else.
I've been doing D, A, D, F, G, E, just
any of
offhand
shit, of it,
just to see kind of how it lands and get out of that mode of them basic chord shapes, the D, the G, and all that stuff. I really want to get away from that and just kind of explore some new sounds.
Commit to one.
Yeah. So I noticed you avoid, commit to one, find your little
that's
avenue.
Your new language. Like it's like speaking a new language. Like if you just commit to one and stick to it,
you're gonna find you.
Just do that.
Yeah.
Because that's what happened with me. Like I hated playing guitar after a certain point in time just because, like, I can't do it this way.
Do you get bored easily?
No, not really.
Yeah. So when you're sitting around at home and you're fucking around on your guitar, at what point did you say, oh, like, do you remember the specific moment when you said, oh, there's my voice, or there's the sound that I aspire to? Do you remember a specific moment, or no? Was it a gradual thing?
Yeah, I wish I did, but no.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
I only started doing it. My stepbrother is a guitar player.
Okay.
And he used to play in that tuning, and he kind of was showing me the Rolling Stones, and that's what got me into it. But a lot of it is like suspension, like holding a note underneath, and then doing like bass lines on the top. Or flipping it around.
So playing the top three versus the bottom three, back
using all of it,
alternating,
but like holding a chord below and then messing around at the top.
Chopping it up.
Yeah. Or the opposite, holding a chord on the top and messing with the bottom string. So that's like a lot of that's kind of the thing I think that I do.
Do you see yourself, hopefully evolving past that? I wouldn't say past, but just away.
Well, if it stops working, I will. But it's working.
Now So experimentally, what do you do? I guess right now you're probably just focused on this album, right? This new album you guys are writing?
Yeah, the second album, I mean, I was done writing it forever ago.
Right.
I mean, we've been working on it for a year, but I had all the songs done forever. A couple of them are so old, like 10 years old.
Whoa.
Like I just dusted off. The first album, I didn't use old songs. I challenged myself to write all new ones. I was like, if I'm going to do it, I'm not leaning on my greatest hits or whatever.
Yeah, I have like a rotating group of songs that I started and then never finished, and then I don't know what it is about life, but sometimes old themes kind of spin back around on you.
Do they have verse? Do you have at least a verse and a chorus for every one of them?
I never do chorus. I never do choruses. I only write verses, and I basically, so I start with a melody on acoustic, which is where you and I differ. Well, we differ in a lot of ways, but I come up with a melody on acoustic, usually 3 or 4 chords, and then I have a few alternations. Maybe, I'll take like an A minor and chop it up a little bit and pick half of it, then go back to strumming. Then I'll lay a melody over top, like a lyrical melody, and then it'll just change the whole song. I really try to avoid choruses, although Hatcher told me, mostly because I can't remember them, to be honest.
Oh, okay. But you have a phone.
Yeah, I do.
There's no excuse for not remembering if you have voice memos.
It's hard to explain, man. You're right. You are right.
No, it's not hard to explain. That's the answer.
No, it is, because I'll come up with a cool melody on guitar, and then I'll sing like an idea. In my head, it's like this overarching thesis. And then I will come back to it, and the words would be completely different, but the idea is the same, the overarching idea. And that's how I freestyle, and that's how I keep my shit fresh. It's really hard to explain, but you actually sit down and write, like you said, a verse and a chorus, and you're done.
Then you're done.
Yeah, and that seems to be what is consistent.
Yeah,
for you,
chorus is everything. I can't understand.
I need to get back to that. I need to get back to that. I used to do that.
Chorus is everything. Every song leans on the chorus.
So if you're not writing songs, I can't get over this because it's like it's curious to me. If you're writing songs not based off of real life events, then where are you drawing these lyrics from?
well, real life sneaks into it, obviously. Like, you don't...
Yeah.
Obviously,
you're not directly talking about
parts of that.
specific things, but...
Like, there's a line in Now and Then, a song off the first album, that's like...
to that on the way here.
Is directly, like, just to my girlfriend. But that's, like... I don't do that, like, often, but, like, that, like, one is, like... That's okay to me, but I can't sit there and be like, this is what I'm going to write the song. I can't do that. I just... Whatever comes out first, I just rhyme all the words with it.
As long as it makes sense.
Yeah, kind of, but like,
right.
if you just, like, even if you just start with a common phrase, like, common phrase is one of the easiest ways to start lyrics.
I don't mind.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, little things like that, or like...
You can build something off of that.
Like, there's a song on the second album that's going to come out. It's like, the first line is, you can beg, borrow, and steal. So it's like, well, that's easy, because then you just have to find common phrases that have 3 things in them, like hop, skip, and a jump.
Syllables.
So it's just like, if you just find like a common phrase and then you use all of them, I mean...
Okay, so...
down to earth.
There's your lyrical kind of formula. Mm-hmm. Now, when it comes to like gear, I know you said you bought that guitar. It's a pretty guitar, man. And you bought it for like 100 parts, or $100. It's a parts guitar, you said. Mm-hmm. What kind of gear do you mess with before you go into the studio, to the space station?
Oh, none.
None? You don't do pedal or anything?
Distortion.
Wow.
I don't use distortion at all.
That's really unique.
Well, we have 3 guitar players. Like, if I was up there with distortion, I'd just be fucking it up.
Yeah.
I'm like part of the rhythm section.
You're very humble, Zach. I'll give you that, man.
It's the truth.
It's so what would you say, at what point when you started playing music, what was your big inspiration that made you think, I could do this? Was it watching your friends play?
Yeah, I didn't have, like, my friends, the first people I started playing with, they wrote. Like, that's what made me want to write. Like, the first guy I ever started playing guitar with, he ended up being my stepbrother. He was just my friend at the time. But he wrote. Like, that was what he did. Like, he didn't care to play Leonard Skinner or some shit like that.
Yeah, no covers.
Like, he just would write his own riffs.
Sounds like
he was awesome. And then the second guy I played with was, like, my mentor. His name's Brent Wiley.
Yeah, he's been liking a lot of my stuff on Facebook. I was wondering who that was. Yeah.
He, like, I know all these guys. Like, you had a poll of, like, who the best local guitar players were one time. Like, you did this. Like,
oh, yeah,
no offense to those other guys on there. He was above them in creativity.
Wasn't mentioned. Yeah.
I mean, nobody knows.
There's different categories.
He's never been in bands, but, like, creatively...
So he's the type of dude that you'd hang out with and have a few beers and listen to him just go to town on some stuff that he written. You could sit just there all night, no TV, no fucking Spotify, none of that shit.
They were. Yeah. I've played with other guys that, like, they're very, like, on the spot, can just, like, riff and rip, and, like, they don't remember what they're doing, or they're not paying. It's kind of like what you were describing, but, like, Sean Davis is sort of that way. Do you know him?
Yeah, I know him.
Which I don't know if he was in the poll either, but he should have been.
Nah, he's a great technical guitar player. I mean...
Well, he's above technical.
Yeah.
Because
Cotter, you know?
Well, Cotter's different. Like, Davis he's like a free-flowing, like, it comes out of him.
Nothing repeats.
And he doesn't... He's not sitting there, like, trying to do it. He's amazing at that. He's got the best right hand. Davis has the best right hand out of anyone, by far. And he was always really nice to me,
I think after this episode, I'm going to put up on the podcast page, we'll try out some different categories and do a poll. You know? That could be cool.
But people always just give the technical guy.
Yeah.
They never look into the other parts.
The people that are doing the poll typically aren't guitar players also, or songwriters.
But Cotter, like, see, to me, like, I look at him as, like, he deserves so much more credit than he gets, because in, like, guitar circles, like, if you hear, like, his name come up, like, he's completely, like, he worked hard. Yeah. Dude. Like,
went to school.
I watched him play, and, like, I was in a band with him, like a metal band, and to me, just watching him, he didn't ever seem to me like he had, like, raw natural talent. But he is one of the best guitar players. So that's, like, I think he deserves more credit for his work ethic. Like, wow. He worked hard to be able to do everything he can, and he's really versatile. Like, he's
Yeah, I heard him playing a Disney song.
Oh, well, he can do all that.
Like, he was reading sheet music, and like playing classical on like nylon strings, but that's just amazing.
That dude worked hard. Like, he worked harder than anybody. That's why he's so good.
Who would you say is highest in like natural ability that you know?
Natural ability. Well, I already said, like, I mean, Brent, I thought, had the most natural ability, and nobody knows him. Yeah, he's just such a natural. God, Jared. I would say Jared's naturally.
Well, they were talking about him coming up to him, just hanging out on a curb, and he's just picked up with some busted ass guitar and just started playing.
I mean, I went to high school with him. Like, he would, like, one time he just whipped out a harmonica in the lunch line and was just like muddy waters in the lunch line. It was great. Like, I lived with him at the compound too, and like I heard like Beethoven coming from his room one time, and I was like, who listens to Beethoven?
We went and saw him at Guacamole Bar and Grill in Princeton, and he was playing My Heart Will Go On a piccolo, him and Luke Coney.
Well, he plays piccolo on the recorder.
I heard it. I heard it today, and I was like, that's what they were talking about.
But like, he wasn't listening to Beethoven. He was playing that, like, in his room. I was like, oh, okay. So he's probably the most naturally talented
There's
guy.
something to be said about the way music flows into a certain type of person. Like, it almost seems like they're channeling or something. I'm sure there's an explanation, but that's where it seems.
That's it.
Okay. Yeah, but anyway, we're going to take a break real quick, guys, and we'll be right back with Zack Sutphin from Memory Motel. Hey guys, welcome back to Can I Kick It? Alex again, sitting here with Zach. So, Zach, I kind of wanted to bring this up. Like, what's it been like for you personally, hearing your stuff on Spotify and actually having somewhat of a following in this area? I mean, has it been a challenge to you at all to kind of put it out there? Are you worried about public perceptions or any of that stuff? Any thoughts on that?
No, because I know it's good. So I don't worry about it too much.
It's good to be proud.
Yeah, those guys are... If I wasn't in a good... That's why I never put anything out before. Just wasn't in a good band. If I can't be in the best band or, close to it, then there's no point in it. So I knew... I could tell the first time I went over it was going to work. Because the songs I had were pretty good, and it just immediately clicked.
Yeah, so do you feel like if you like it, then if they don't like it, fuck it?
They've never not liked it.
Right, true.
Only one time. Are you talking about the guys in the band?
No, or just publicly? The public.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know about that. I mean,
do you even care?
Well, everybody just tells you how good you are anyway. Nobody tells you suck. I mean, a couple people, but,
Like Hatcher.
You like Hatcher. But he thinks he's better than he is, so I don't know. But, only thing I really care about is if the guys in the band like it. If they like it, I know it's good.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you're hanging out with all those people anyway that are listening to the music.
No, I don't talk to anybody. I just
what is your personal life like? What's your typical day like?
I work every day, and then I just go home and hang out with my girlfriend and sit around. I don't get out or do anything anymore.
Does she listen to your music at home?
I don't know.
Or do you like kind of step off it in the side room?
I showed her because she's like a massive coffee aficionado. So she's like, we go to Jasper to get Starbucks. Whoa. Sometimes just on drives, like just to go do something.
It's cool to take a cruise.
Yeah. Not that long ago, I played her a couple of the good songs off the second album. Like, she hadn't heard them, and I played her a couple of them. And there's the ones that I thought she would like, she liked, and then she just stuck to one. I try not to oversaturate her with it.
Yeah, you don't want to be like, listen to my stuff.
I try not to do that, because she didn't know I could play or sing anyway, because I just wait till she go to bed. I've never sang in front of her. I never played. I play guitar in front of her some, but...
So do you think that's like two different worlds to you?
What?
Like your girlfriend and home, and then this part of you that creates music at nighttime when no one's around? Is it therapeutic to play music?
It was before I was in a band.
Yeah, now it's work.
Now it's, I'm doing it for something, but forever I was just like...
I mean, you're not going to stop, though.
No.
Right? Yeah.
I stop all the time. I mean, I go months without even playing.
I do too, dude.
Yeah, I don't try to force it. Like, I don't understand people that, like,
do it every day.
I don't get
on a schedule and stuff.
Yeah,
I can't do that either. Even if I want to. Like, I got in this groove 3 or 4 weeks ago. Well, I guess it was December 21st. I was in Washington hanging out with this person. Really fucking was in the groove, man. I just, song after song, we just make up a melody on the spot, 4 chords, and just go. And I was all hyped up about it. I was like, yes, I found it. You know, I found that thing.
Yeah.
And then I went home and I was playing for like a week. And then it was just gone. Like, as soon as it came, and I tried to figure out like the direction that it left or came from, and I couldn't find it. And I think that, you know, it's like happiness. You can't expect it. Yeah. You can't expect it. When it comes, you should appreciate it.
Or chase it.
Which is, it's a big lesson in life. Like, don't be attached to anything because it's going to go.
Well, I don't know about that.
That's pretty heavy stuff, I know, but it's heady stuff.
It's good to attach yourself to things, you know. But
to dedicate yourself to things is different than attachment. Like, some things are going to go. Like, people die.
Right.
Yeah, I used to love certain songs or certain albums, and I'd be really attached to them, and then they stop working, sort of. And me being like I used to party really hard, and so like certain drugs or alcohol or whatever, I'd get really attached to that, the way it made me feel, and then it would change.
Oh, yeah.
And so, I guess there's a lesson to be learned.
But that's how writing is. Like, I can't force myself to do it. If I don't feel like it, I don't even try. Like, I don't care. Like,
because then you just get discouraged and like beat down, or I do.
Sometimes it just takes me, like, I go through my phone all the time because, like, the voice memos, like, I have
a tool,
a million riffs that are just in there, like, and I go through them, listen to them, find one I kind of like, and then I just play it in front of those guys when I'm messing around, and if they don't say anything, it just sucks.
Let it go.
Yeah. Like, I don't say, like, hey, listen to this. I just play it when we're sitting around. And if somebody notices, like it happened the other night, Clymer was like, he's like, what's that? So if somebody says, what's that? Then it's something.
That simple.
So then I go work on it after that. Somebody shows interest.
So how often do you guys meet up? Or like
once a week.
Okay. So is that like a dedicated day, or is it kind of wane and wax?
Well, it depends on a certain someone, whether they can get free, but... It's
right, I hear you.
But yeah, I mean, our process, it gets questioned every week. Someone questions it every week, like, why do we do it this way? But it works. Yeah. I don't ever question it.
As soon as you start forcing it, it's probably gonna.
It's so easy.
It's not gonna fit, right?
Yeah. I just play the song on guitar.
Yeah.
I play it on guitar. Holy fuck.
Yeah, I do that too.
Is it still working? Okay, sorry. Jesus Christ. But I just play the song, and then everybody gets their turn. Like, the guitar track's down, and then the drummer goes. Then the bass player
Jared's
goes.
Tracking. So Jared hits record on the guitar, and then he switches to, Hatcher's sitting to the left of him. So you're passing it like a joint, basically.
But then everybody's watching you.
Yeah.
So, like, you're kind of on the spot. Like, all 4 people are watching you while you're doing it. So, like, you get critiqued, or that's wrong, don't do that, that's too much. So everybody's talking. It's like, everybody, I'm sure, used to do it this way. Like, you just get in the room and, like, hey, here's the song, and then everybody play it. But you can't hear what everybody else is doing when you're doing that because you're focused on yourself. So you don't know that, like, the bass player's doing too much sometimes. Like, you have to really pay attention to that. Okay. And so, like, when
one
you're
at a time
doing it that way, one at a time, you're watching.
Because when you're playing your own stuff, it's hard to hear other people.
Yeah, if you're playing and singing, like, I don't know what they're doing.
You know what? That explains something to me that I always wondered about. I've been to a ton of concerts. I mean, probably over 200 concerts at this point in my life.
Right.
And sometimes I notice that the guitar player will, like, for no apparent reason, will kind of veer over to the drummer, and he'll just kind of stand there watching him while they're both playing. It's because there's a language happening there. There's something that you don't quite understand as the casual observer, but the drummer and the guitar player are, like, speaking this language to each other, and that's why you have to look at each other so you can, like, notice the intricacy of it.
Yeah,
that's cool, man. Something just clicked for me.
Yeah, but just. I don't know if that's, like, works for everybody doing it that
Maybe
way.
Not.
But I think that I don't know.
It's a cool strategy.
It's a good strategy because you get you're just watching. Like, you get to see everybody do their thing, and you're hearing it, and you get to talk it over. And it's like, if you have a little idea, like, if you can explain it and make them do it, like, get them to do it, or, like, convince them, that's a good feeling, too. Like, you're getting your point across.
So there's, like, there's an equality there.
Yeah.
In a way. Everybody steps up and is, you know, equally criticized.
But that's
cool.
Till you get to the bridge part. And then once we get to the bridge,
you're a free man. Yeah.
It's like, somebody figure it out. Yeah. Somebody do it.
That's it. It's not your spot.
I always get competitive because when it gets to that, when it gets to that part, I'm like, oh, I want to figure this part out too.
Man, competition breeds some beautiful shit though.
Oh, it's the best. Yeah. It is. Like, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, when you can compete with your friends, that's the best idea of a sport I've ever heard.
It's funny. Yeah. It's fun to make them mad because you come up with it. Like, that's fun. Like,
yeah, it's fun to piss Hatcher off, no doubt. Sometimes I'll just drop a weird status on his, like, some hippie granola shit on his Facebook status just to kind of.
I don't even know if it phases him anymore. He's like, everybody's just constantly like. He's one of those people, like, when he runs into people, like, they just immediately shit talk him because that's who he is. Like, when you see him, you just want to tell him to fuck off just because you know, like, you got to beat him to it because he's gonna do it. So he's like that. I'm sure that's how it goes everywhere. Okay,
so let's move on here a little bit. So, just in the interest of kind of moving forward, but what was it like the first time you stepped on stage with Memory Motel? I mean, where was it? How'd it go? I really don't even know. Was it at the River Jet?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the first year. Yep.
Had you guys not played in front of people whatsoever before that, or
no? But they did for years. I never had.
Yeah, they.
I did in metal bands.
So what was that like for you? I mean, to play your raw emotional shit.
I don't even know.
I wouldn't even call it emotional exactly.
Yeah, I'm not sure how emotional it is.
Did you just do your job? Kind of. Is that kind of how it felt?
Yeah, I just shut my eyes and didn't look because I was nervous. But yeah, I don't know.
Were you high off of it when you walked off stage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Talk to me about that. What's that like? I've always wondered. That
doesn't last long. I don't know if that lasts long for people.
I don't think it lasts long for anyone.
I get really underwhelmed.
By everything, huh?
Yeah, I just never think that, well, not everything in life, but I don't like some, like, I'm sure people are enjoying, like, when I'm looking out, like, I can't really judge, like, joy. Like, I don't see that. Like, I'm sure people are having fun or, like, enjoying it, but I don't see that when I look. Like, I kind of, like, I see a disappointment. Like, because that's what I'm thinking in my head. I'm, like, kind of hard on myself when it comes to stuff like that.
That's interesting. I'm not going to psychoanalyze you or anything, but that's interesting. That says a lot. I don't know. I wonder if I was on stage, if I was, like, looking out at the crowd and I'm playing one of my original songs, what do you instinctually look for? I mean, just off the top, without thinking too much about it, what would you be looking for? Would you look at the front row? Do you look at the back? Do you look for people bobbing their heads? Or?
See, I wish I knew, because that's part of, like, being the front man. Like, that stuff I don't have much of a gauge for.
Okay.
It's not. I think if it's something you, like, dream about doing or wanting to do, then maybe you push yourself to do it. Like, I didn't want to be the singer. Yeah. I didn't want to do that. So, like, I don't want to be the front. I don't want to talk. Like, I'm not a talker, really. Yeah. I'm okay talking to you. I know you, but.
The unwilling hero kind of.
Right. Like, I don't want to get up there and be like, everybody clap your hand. Like, I'm not doing that shit.
You're not going to say, put your hands
in
the air.
I'm not doing that shit. Like, I don't like watching someone do that either. Like, when I'm watching a band...
It feels weird when people are telling... Like, when they kind of force you to... They're like, put your hands in the air.
Anything like that. Like, any talking. Like, I'm like... That doesn't interest me.
This is something I've always wanted to talk about, but I know it always just kind of gets forgotten. But sometimes I go to a concert, like even a really good band that I love, and there's this moment where I'm looking around and I'm like, it feels forced, or like I look around and I'm like, you can see somebody's never been to a concert before, like a younger guy, and he's standing there and he's like fake bobbing, like because everybody else, he's looking around like, what should I be doing?
Right.
That's an awkward feeling for a second.
It is.
But as I've gotten older, I've learned to just fucking let go. You know, just let fucking go. And that's the battle in life sometimes. Just let go and enjoy, dude. Like,
I wish I could do that. I can't do that.
You will someday. It'll click.
I don't think I will.
If you don't think you will, then you won't.
Yeah.
You know,
and that's... Yeah.
And maybe that's your thing.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. But I do know that when I was like 19, 20, I went to Bonnaroo, and I busted my ass to get up front for Tom Petty and Stevie Nicks. Oh. And I'm standing there and I'm looking around, and there's some chick with hairy armpits showing off her hairy armpits because she's unconventional or whatever.
Great.
And me and my girlfriend are standing there, and I'm looking around, and I was like, this feels kind of forced. But then I zoned into Tom Petty, and I remembered me and my dad riding in the car, listening to I Won't Back Down. And I forgot all that shit, and it just washed away. And I'm standing there, and I just started naturally just
Tom Petty, shit.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was a good...
Exactly.
It wasn't hard.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm saying that I don't get excited. Yeah, if I saw Tom Petty, I probably would get excited.
Yeah, I mean, authenticity rings through, no doubt. So if you bring that on stage, I feel like
every song, you know every word, and you don't even know it with Tom Petty. That's true. Which is ridiculous.
Well, it's been around before I was born, too, which helps.
Yeah, well, everything's been around
those
since
words,
before you were
right? Yeah, almost everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who are you listening to these days? That's always a cool question. Simple one, but a good one.
I don't even listen to music hardly.
You listen to your own stuff?
No, I just listen to podcasts. Well, of course we listen.
I listen to podcasts nonstop, dude. Yeah.
I've been listening to all this stuff.
Work.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't really. Music, I listen to our shit.
You'll come back around to it.
I do all the time.
For sure. Yeah.
Just like playing.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't play, but I know I will because I have to.
Yeah, it is the same cycle, kind of.
Yeah, music's the same way. But like, God, yeah, I don't even have an answer. I wish I did. I wish I was into it.
No, it's okay. That's why I asked. Yeah, you know, to get an answer.
It's kind of sad.
I'm
listening to the same.
So there's this interesting character that I'd like to plug while we're sitting here talking. This guy named Ren from England. He just goes by REN. And it's some pretty strange shit. Like, so he had Lyme's disease, which is where you get bit by a tick and you get some fucking weird, wacky schizophrenia thing going on. But he, like, plays classical guitar, and he does, like, this Shakespeare type thing. So check out Ren, by the way. I'll go ahead and plug that while I have a platform.
That seems
the song's called Hi Ren.
That seems like something I would hate. That description. Probably. I would hate that.
Well, I'm kind of like a theater puss, and you're and you like Megadeth, and you know. So
I grew up listening to that.
We're way different in that regard, no doubt. But it's cool to have friends who are diverse, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I grew up listening to metal. I can't listen to that anymore either.
What if you had to suggest to a new, because I always ask this pretty much of every guest, especially good musicians in the local area. My main mission here is to talk to younger people who might be watching this, the oddball in high school who likes art for whatever reason. What would you suggest to a 16-year-old dude right now sitting here listening to this podcast, looking up to you as a local musician that's playing shows? What would you suggest for him to do to become a better musician? Pretty simple, straightforward question.
Just sit in your room and write songs. I don't think... it depends what you want to be. It seems like most people just want to be able to play Eruption on guitar. To me, like, that's the most of what I see is, like, people just want to solo and do all that shit. But it just depends what you're interested in. I just like writing. That's all that matters to me. Like, all the other shit... that means nothing without the writing. Like, guitar solo in Hotel California, like, people talk about that
without
guitar.
The bass, yeah.
It doesn't mean shit.
Not if B-A-S-S, B-A-S-E.
Yeah, it means nothing if it's not in a great song.
Yeah.
Like, if two dudes were just standing on the side of the road playing that solo, you'd be like, great, but it means nothing without the song. So the song comes first. That's everything. And writing is tough. Like, you have to, like, there's this great Colin Quinn line where he says, like, the great part of writing is you have to confront the fact that you're not a genius. You have to face the facts that you can't just come up with it and be a fucking genius. Like, I just did that on the spot.
It's work.
It takes fucking work.
Yeah.
So that's, if anybody is like, that's all it is. It's hard work, and you have to sit down and work to write songs.
That's funny because a lot of people are drawn to art because it's natural. It just flows when you're listening to it. But when you got to sit down and be the artist, there's a lot of suffering involved. There's a lot of, I wouldn't say suffering in your case, but for me, a lot of my best stuff that I love is from suffering. And then I sit down and translate that to the masses. You know? That's an interesting idea.
That's another thing is like, like applying an emotion to it. I can't do that. I wish that I could, but I can't do that.
So what are you playing for then? Like what's the ultimate goal?
Just to be a songwriter. That's it. That's the only goal. Like I don't want to push any idea. I don't want to do anything like that. No motive. No, I just want to be a songwriter. That's it. That's the only goal I have. Like I don't care about anything other than that. That's it. When it comes to music, obviously, I could care less about it a lot of days. Like, you got your normal life. I don't even consider myself a songwriter. I don't do that for a living.
What do you find most fulfilling in life? Your girlfriend or?
Yeah.
Yeah?
That's most of my life. Huh. Yeah. Just doing my job and doing that. Like, I'm a simple...
Just being useful, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't...
God, I wish I could make myself be okay with just that, but for some reason that's not enough for me.
I just grew up real blue collar. Like my dad's a hardworking guy, so that's like.
And you respect him, and
oh God, yeah.
My dad was a blue collar cat too. I don't know what it is about me that makes me like want to fucking fly an F-16 and save the world from aliens or whatever. That's not what I really want, but you know what I mean. Like I'm always shooting for the stars.
Your upbringing isn't everything. I mean, outside influences come in, but like
it's 50% nature, 50% nurture, no doubt.
There's just certain things in your life
that variations
point you in that. Like there's just certain things that happen that point you in a direction.
Inspirations.
When I was working on the farm with my dad one time. He called me on the phone. I was like across this field, and he's like, "Hey, come up here." And I walked across the field. It was like 100 yards. And when I got up there, I got in the truck, and my dad was like, he's like, "You know what?" He's like, "When I was your age, I would have fucking ran across that field if somebody told me to do that." He's like, "That's fucking embarrassing."
That you
would walk like that. And the thing is, he could have called me and told me to run. I still had my phone, but he waited to see if I was going to do it. So, like, things like that.
That's in your head forever.
Yeah, that sticks in your head. Like, you know, you have to work hard. So that's most of what I think about.
So, you want to shout out your old man?
Oh, great dude. I shout him out every day. Cool. Yeah, he's the best.
Yeah, who would you, right now, since we're on the air and, like, mini celebrity status, not really, but who would you shout out the most as one of your greatest inspirations?
Of like a famous musician or like just
anybody, just music?
Well, I already talked about like local guys and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like my favorite bands are, you know, just I don't like sometimes when people are like into like indie bands and shit like that, like that's great, and I am in one, so I get it. But
for
like
them,
I just like popular shit. Like I like the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, and I like REM. I like Oasis, and I like Jane's Addiction, and like those are the bands I like. So I don't veer off into like oh, have you heard this French band? They moved to New Mexico, and they're like,
why do you think that is? Why do you think you don't care about that?
I don't know. I just like because it takes. You can do that shit. Like, you can be an offshoot. Like, you can be, like, a small band that, like, you can do that with little effort. And just be, but those
be whoever
bands
you are.
Like that, that's...
They're trying to impress everyone.
But that's fucking work. Like, that shit, like...
Every day, all day. And not only that, but, like, it's hard to have a full-time job and still create music like that. Like, you almost have to just... I wish I could take off work and sit at home all day and do nothing but create music.
It wouldn't do you any good.
I think it would.
But you can do that all day at work. You literally can.
Nowadays you can rig it, but it's not the same.
Dude, literally, you can put headphones in and voice memos, and you can go through your voice memos and just listen to what you wrote the day before the entire day. I do that all the time. Like... I'll listen to a 1 and 30-second clip of a voice memo 100 times in a day.
Wow.
You know?
I mean, I've got 20 on my voice memos right now, maybe 17.
20?
20 probably.
Oh.
New phone.
I've got 400.
Damn.
It just like...
You know what sucks, though, is like I can't sit down while I'm at work and write the riff while I'm feeling it. And it's all my music's emotionally based. And then you're saying yours isn't.
You can hum it into your phone, though.
I can't. Well, it's not the same. I can't sit down with the guitar because I'm not the greatest guitar player, and that's just from lack of discipline.
But really. If you have a thing in your head and you hum it into your phone,
yeah,
you can translate it and just play it on guitar. I've done that a million times. Like the second song on the first album, $2 Pistol, I wrote that at work in my head. I wrote the guitar part and the lyrics, and I hummed it all into my phone and took it home.
Hey, Tyler, can we link that in the episode? That'd be cool. Let's link $2 Pistol right there, like right on Zach's
That's not even.
On his chin, maybe, on his cheek.
Yeah, anywhere.
A little bit. Yeah, I'm just kidding. It's not Sorry, Tyler. Giving you extra work.
That great a song, but...
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, so, man, thanks for coming in, Zach. I appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Any words of wisdom for the youngins before we take off?
No, I think we covered it.
Yeah, I think we did a good job, man.
Words of wisdom guy, but...
I was expecting something totally different, and I was happily surprised, yeah. Not in a bad way, but we've never really connected
We don't know each other that
We've
well.
known each other for a long time, but not, like, deeply. So it was good to get kind of to the heart of what makes you tick. I'm happy to have you on, and I'll always plug Memory Motel because it is quality music.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you, dude.
Oh, I appreciate you. Thank you, man.
All right. Check out Memory Motel on Spotify, YouTube. You can find them anywhere else.
That
pretty much covers it, right?
Yeah, whatever.
All right, guys. We'll see you next episode. Thanks for watching. Peace.
Fortune favors bold and the brave. Doctor said, well, son,